Right now, this map shows a flash flood watch covering virtually the entire state of Texas from West Texas near Midland all the way east through Austin, San Antonio, and Houston into Louisiana. That orange zone is one of the largest flash flood watch areas in recent memory, covering tens of millions of people, and the yellow zone near Corpus Christi adds a separate coastal tornado threat on top. Two large storm systems are coming over the next 7 days. This is a two-punch pattern, and the severe weather and flooding threat on the map right now is only the beginning. At the same time, temperatures across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and East are running 10 to 15 degrees below normal, and frost advisories and freeze warnings are in effect tonight across 7 states. And here's the one that most people along the Gulf Coast have no idea about. A strong tornado cannot be ruled out near Cedar Key. Florida tomorrow, good grief. It is the last thing anyone expects on a May weekend. Today, the Gulf Coast is dealing with severe thunderstorms and dangerous flooding, and by Monday through Wednesday, the atmosphere reloads for the bigger and more organized second event. At the 6-minute mark, I will break down that Monday through Wednesday severe weather setup Tuesday, and Wednesday are shaping up as the most significant days of this entire 7-day stretch. And here's the genuine good news. All of this rainfall is delivering badly needed drought relief to the Deep South, Southeast, and Central Florida, and good Lord, those areas desperately need every inch, y'all. Be ruled out near Cedar Key, Florida tomorrow, and good grief. It is the last thing anyone is expecting on a May weekend. Monday through Wednesday, the atmosphere reloads for a second and more organized severe weather event. Tuesday and Wednesday are shaping up as the most significant days of the entire 7-day stretch. And here is the genuine good news before we get into it. All of this rainfall is delivering badly needed drought relief to the Deep South and Southeast, and those areas need every single inch, y'all. Here's the straight talk on today's severe weather threat. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk in place. For the Gulf Coast, this is a low-key severe weather day, but the flooding threat is anything but low-key. West Texas, Midland, Fort Stockton, and San Angelo are all inside that flash flood watch. And out there, the desert ground cannot absorb heavy rain, so flash flooding starts fast and without much warning. Houston and San Antonio, you are under a flood watch through tonight. And the bigger story for both of you. Today is not severe weather. It is the flooding from multiple inches of rain falling on already saturated ground. North of Houston is where the heaviest totals are expected. We are talking multiple inches falling in a short window. And that is going to overwhelm drainage systems in the suburban corridors. Turn around, do not drown. That is not just a slogan today. It is a real operational concern across south central Texas. 12 inches of moving water can carry away a vehicle, and that is not an exaggeration. Corpus Christi and Galveston, you are in the marginal severe risk zone along the South Texas coast. And isolated storms with large hail and gusty winds are possible this afternoon into the early evening. New Orleans and Baton Rouge, a marginal risk extends into southeastern Louisiana. And your window for isolated severe storms with damaging wind gusts and large hail runs from this evening through overnight. The entire Deep South corridor from Shreveport east through Jackson, Birmingham, and Montgomery is going to be a washout tonight. If you have outdoor plans this evening, it is time to flex them. Atlanta, a steady band of heavy rain reaches you late this evening. And by the time most folks are heading to bed tonight, significant rainfall will be pushing through the metro. Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and Alabama, this system is going to deliver 1 to 3 inches of badly needed rainfall. With some spots in southern Mississippi picking up closer to 3 inches, Florida Panhandle area expect around 2 inches of rainfall from this system. And north central Florida is also picking up meaningful moisture from the southern edge of this low. Central and southern Georgia are sitting on a serious rainfall deficit. This system is not going to erase it entirely. Meaningful drought relief is coming for South Georgia and the Carolinas, and we will absolutely take it. The concern for New Orleans, Mobile, and Panama City tonight is primarily damaging wind gusts and isolated hail. But a couple of brief tornadoes cannot be entirely ruled out during the overnight window. Here's what I need from you right now. Drop your city and state in the comments and tell me. Whether you have active flooding, clear skies, or something in between, your real-time report helps me pinpoint exactly where to focus tonight's update. Your ground report is more valuable to the forecast than any model run. And if your city has not come up in this video yet, good news, this is how it gets on my radar. Drop it below, and I will work it into tonight's detailed breakdown. This is the day and the location that has my full attention for severe weather, not the Gulf Coast. Tomorrow, Saturday, May 2nd, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk in place covering Jacksonville. Back through Panama City, just north of the I-4 corridor near Tampa, extending toward Orlando and Daytona Beach. Florida does not get a lot of organized severe weather coverage in 2026. But tomorrow is genuinely different, and the ingredients for organized severe storms will be in place across the northern half of the states. The main threats Saturday in Florida are damaging wind gusts and large hail, but there is also a legitimate tornado risk, and I am flat out not going to sugarcoat the Cedar Key concern. A strong tornado near Cedar Key, Florida cannot be ruled out tomorrow. That is jaw-dropping for any May weekend forecast, and if you are in that region, you need to take it seriously. Jacksonville, you're in the slight risk Saturday. Damaging winds and hail are the primary concerns, and the afternoon hours are your main watch window. Tampa area, you sit just south of the main risk corridor, but storms organizing north of the I-4 can push south. Monitor the situation Saturday afternoon before committing to any outdoor plans in the Tampa corridor. Orlando and Daytona Beach, you are in the slight risk zone, and the afternoon is when any stronger storms are most likely to spin up. Or anywhere along the Gulf Coast right now, drop your city in the comments and tell me what conditions look like outside. The one affecting tens of millions of people in the Midwest and Northeast, and it is not getting the headlines it deserves. A large low-pressure system sitting over northeastern Canada is funneling cold air across the Great Plains and Ohio Valley right now. That trough is locked in place and is not moving for the next several days. Chicago, southeastern Michigan, and Wisconsin frost advisories are in effect tonight, and temperatures could drop to near or below freezing before sunrise Saturday morning. Nebraska and West Virginia freeze warnings are in place for tonight and into Saturday morning, and sensitive crops and garden plants need to be covered before dark, no excuses. New York, Pennsylvania, and the broader Northeast, you're looking at temperatures 10 to 15 degrees below normal for early May. And it is going to feel much more like early April. Here is the kicker about this cold: it is not a quick one-night shot. It is a locked-in trough that keeps feeding cold air southward, and the European ensemble shows this pattern persisting into mid-May. If you planted tomatoes, peppers, or anything cold-sensitive in the last couple of weeks thinking spring was here to stay, cover those plants tonight, no excuses, because another cold shot is lined up for next weekend. The good news on the cold side above normal temperatures continue for California and the Pacific Northwest. So if you are out west, you are living that warm spring life that everyone else is jealous of right now. Let me give you the weekend picture, and I want to start by saying something that does not always get enough space. The brief calm that arrives Sunday is real, and it matters. Use it. Louisiana and Texas finally dry out and get some spectacular cooler air by. Sunday, enjoy those 60s while you can, because the southerly winds return Monday and things warm right back up. The Plains Saturday shapes up to be one of the nicer outdoor days of the week. Whether it is yard work, a ball game, or just sitting on the porch, Saturday afternoon is your window. A retired electrician named Earl from outside Chicago told me he almost skipped covering his garden plants. Wednesday night, because local TV said it would be fine, and he woke up to frost damage on his tomatoes Thursday morning. If Earl's story sounds familiar, do not make the same call. The frost advisory is real tonight in the Midwest and Northern Plains. A few minutes of work before bed tonight can save an entire season of garden investments. Sunday evening before you close out the weekend, Monday is when the atmosphere starts shifting and the setup for next week begins to take shape. Saturday is the calm for the Plains and Midwest, and Monday is when we reload. Now here's the part of this forecast that I promised you at the top. And I need you locked in for the next few minutes, because the second storm system is the one that really matters. Instead of one organized system sweeping the country, we have a series of smaller systems that can produce localized but significant severe weather. The difference between a quiet day and a significant local outbreak can come down to exactly where a small storm system tracks. But starting Monday, the atmosphere reloads, Gulf moisture returns, wind shear cranks back up, and the ingredients for severe weather start lining back up across the central and southern states. Nobody who lived through the last 2 weeks of April should need me to explain what a reloaded setup feels like. And here it comes again, and it is coming right on schedule. The specific window is Tuesday, May 5th through Thursday, May 7th, and I am feeling more confident in this one than the preliminary numbers alone would suggest. Tuesday and Wednesday are the days I am most focused on. Mark those on your calendar right now before you do anything else today. Here's the setup for Monday through Wednesday. A new storm system develops and ejects across the country. And sneaky energy from the desert southwest tries to tap into the southern plains and southeast. Think of the jet stream like a set of train tracks. Right now they run flat. But by Monday, those tracks begin to dip southward, and by Tuesday, they are pointing straight into the central states. Monday is the start of the active stretch. Isolated to scattered severe weather is possible across the Great Plains. Midwest and Ohio Valley, primarily damaging wind and hail with any storms that fire. Tuesday is when I lean in harder. The ingredients are building. Moisture is returning from the Gulf, and the setup starts looking more organized for the central and southern plains. Wednesday is the day I am most focused on for elevated severe weather risk. If storms organize by Wednesday, the southeast is in the primary risk corridor and all hazards will be possible. All hazards means all hazards damaging winds, very large hail, and tornadoes, including the possibility of a strong tornado somewhere in the corridor if the models verify. This pattern is more conducive to localized severe weather rather than a widespread outbreak. But localized does not mean trivial. A localized severe weather event can still mean a significant tornado. Baseball-sized hail and 80-mile-per-hour straight-line winds for specific communities in the crosshairs. Oklahoma City and the central Oklahoma corridor, you are in the Monday through Tuesday watch zone, and your setup comes into focus once we clear this weekend. Kansas City, St. Louis, and the Missouri River Valley, you are in the Tuesday watch zone, and the severe weather risk is real even if the headlines are not as loud as late April. Memphis and the Mid-South Wednesday is your day to watch, and the squall line timing for your corridor is what I am keeping the closest eye on because overnight severe weather demands the most respect. Nashville and Chattanooga, you are in that Wednesday corridor, and with cold Canadian air above you and warm Gulf moisture below, the wind shear setup for Wednesday is genuinely interesting. The Southeast Atlanta, Birmingham, Charlotte, and the Carolinas, you're in the Wednesday extended outlook, and I am watching whether the storm track keeps organized severe weather in your direction. Midwest and East Coast for the next 10 days, that cold pool above us is what keeps the big organized outbreaks suppressed. And that is exactly what I expect through the first half of May. A retired teacher named Carol from just outside Memphis reminded me of something. I think about every time we track a week like this, the families who came through the spring tornado season, without incident, all had the forecast the day before, not the morning of. That is exactly why we are talking about Tuesday and Wednesday right now on a Friday. You have a 4-day runway. That 4-day runway from today to Tuesday is the real deal. Use it wisely. Here is my question for you in the comments, and I am genuinely curious based on everything I just walked you through. Which day do you think carries the highest severe weather risk, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? Drop your city and your prediction: Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Memphis, Nashville, or somewhere else entirely, because some of you have been calling these setups more accurately than the early models. Also tell me this: are you more concerned about the flooding today, the Florida tornado risk tomorrow, or the Monday through Wednesday setup? Because your answer tells me which part of this pattern needs the most follow-up detail. Your location in the comments shapes tomorrow's video in a direct way. The cities that show up most in the comments are the ones I break down first. Your city could be next. If you know somebody in Florida, the Gulf Coast, Memphis, Nashville, or anywhere in next week's corridor who is not watching this forecast right now, do yourself a solid and share this with them. A heads up from someone they trust is worth 10 push notifications they're going to scroll right past. Because this month is genuinely one of the more unusual roller coaster patterns I have seen for this time of year, plain and simple. March and April ran very warm across most of the lower 48, but May has flipped the script in a big way. May has turned cooler, stormier, and more active for severe weather than almost anyone expected heading in. The European ensemble and the GFS both show below average temperatures as more likely than not across the Great Plains, Midwest, and East Coast for the bulk of the first 2 weeks of May. But it actually increases the back-to-back localized outbreak risk, and that is what we expect through mid-May. The Climate Prediction Center has already flagged below-average temperatures as more likely than not across the Great Plains, Midwest, and East for the next 10 days. That locked-in cold is why the big organized outbreaks stay suppressed. The warm and dry pattern continues, and elevated fire weather risk for the southern plains and southwest is not going away anytime soon. And again, next week we'll deliver beneficial moisture from central Texas through the deep south, southeast, and northern Florida. If you are in South Georgia, the Carolinas, or central Florida, and you have been watching the bone dry, ground bone dry, this is the week. And the 6 to 10 day outlook keeps that moisture coming. Here's the kicker about May in this setup: do not be lulled into thinking severe weather season is winding down just because temperatures are below normal. Back-to-back localized setups are exactly how May 2026 is shaping up. And both the central and southern plains and Mississippi Valley are in the crosshairs for an active early summer severe weather season. And with El Nino building and Gulf waters warm, this is a tropical season worth paying attention to from the very start. Drier planting window for the Corn Belt mid-May, warm and dry out west. Cold, stormy, back-to-back severe weather setups is genuinely unusual, and this community deserves a straight-up, honest conversation about it. For the flooding threat in Houston and San Antonio today, turn around, do not drown. The flash flood risk is real, and roads that look passable at a glance can be completely underwater in minutes. If you are in the Florida slight risk tomorrow, have a weather alert method that will wake you up. A Cedar Key area tornado can happen fast and with limited warning time. Mobile home and manufactured housing residents in today's Gulf Coast risk and tomorrow's Florida risk zones, do yourself a solid. And identify a sturdy structure before storms fire this afternoon and tomorrow. Charge your phone and backup battery while it is calm this morning. The forecast ahead has multiple events on the calendar, and you want to be fully charged going into each one. For next week's severe weather setup, start your preparation now, not Monday. Identify your shelter, confirm your overnight alert is set, and have a plan before the first storm fires. A NOAA weather radio on the nightstand is not optional for a Wednesday night severe weather event. If the worst of it hits after dark, you need something that will wake you up. Those families had their plan ready before a single siren went off. Not after that is the lesson. Go check on your neighbors today, especially elderly neighbors in the flood zones of Texas and the Gulf Coast. A community that looks out for each other always comes through the other side in stronger shape. Here's your closing picture, and I want 5 things to stay with you when you walk away from this video today. A flash flood watch across virtually all of Texas and into Louisiana. Tens of millions of people under that orange zone right now. The flooding threat across Texas and the Gulf Coast is the primary story today. Frost advisories and freeze warnings active tonight across 7 states from Nebraska and West Virginia to Chicago and beyond. The cold is real. This cold pattern is locked in and holds through at least mid-May based on the European ensemble. Here's your closing picture of 5 things I want you to carry when you walk away today. Temperatures 10 to 15 degrees below normal with frost and freeze warnings active tonight across 7 states. The cold is real, and the pattern locks in through mid-May. A Cedar Key area strong tornado risk tomorrow that most people along the Gulf Coast have no idea is on the table if you are in northern Florida on Saturday. Please take it seriously. Tuesday, May 5th through Wednesday, May 7th, jet stream dips sharply. Gulf moisture rebuilds. All hazards possible from the Great Plains to the southeast mark those days right now. May is on a genuine roller coaster cooler, stormier, more active than almost anyone expected, and the folks who come through in one piece are the ones who tracked it early. The runway from today to Monday is your preparation window. Use it because the second storm system is the bigger of the two. We are tracking every development as Tuesday and Wednesday come into focus. Details sharp and fast after this weekend, so get notifications turned on. Drop your city in the comments right now and tell me what the sky looks like. I will work through every single one tonight. Stay safe out there, take care of the people around you, and we will see you in the next one.